Hello, Gentleman Gamer here, and today I'm playing EVE Online on the test server, and I'm on today to check out what initially I thought would just be the Mining Barge Hull redesign, but as I got ready to make that video, CCP started putting out a bunch of new frigate hull redesigns as well, which I did not know was due to come out either. So I decided to wait a few more days to see if they put out any more, and I think they stopped. I think they have about 6 frigate redesigns they put out on top of the mining barge redesigns, and the first one I'm looking at right now is the Executioner. If you remember the Executioner before, it is the MR tackle frigate, and it's a little beefier than last time. But I think it does look cool. I think the spirit of the ship has been kept intact. The main reason I think it's a little beefier now because they wanted to add all these little parts here, moving parts to make it look more dynamic. It does look really interesting. I do like the way it looks, even though it's a bit thicker than before. And I'm not sure what these parts actually do. I know that at some point CDP will release a Frigates of New Eden art book, and maybe they'll explain what all these are, but I'm pretty sure we're pretty safe to say that these are just components for the massive engines of the Executioner, which is pretty much just 2 massive engines with weapon hardpoints on it. So, but those are pretty cool. And I have noticed a new skin as well. Once I look through here, let's take a look at this. It do look pretty cool on the new hull. I checked the Blood Raiders. Not my favorite hull. Not the favorite paint scheme. It just looks too dull, maybe. Other than the fact that it's covered in blood. But this is the one I was looking at before, which I've not seen before, and it is not on TQ yet. It's an all white one. And it's called Purity of the Throne. So I'm hoping they release this skin for an event. That I know that the new Empress is set to be coordinated in September. So I'm hoping this skin is a reward for an event coming up, because it does look good on this Executioner, and every MR ship has this option here now in the available skins on the test server. So hopefully it's one of those really cool skins that can be applied to any of the MR ships. So, but anyway, let's move on to the Tech 2 versions of the Executioner, which look pretty cool as well. Let's look at the, let's board the Malediction. Yeah, that's one of my favorite versions of the Executioner. And it's obviously very similar. The only thing really added on here was the plating on the top here, and I'm assuming these are antennae of some kind. And of course, an extra pair of engines, which the Malediction's always had. So I think it's a really good job on this ship. I'm really enjoying it. Just looking at it looks really cool. And when I go traveling to Nullsec, it's going to be pretty sweet looking. So let's take a look at the warp animation on this. We'll go on to the next area here. All the engines light up, which is really cool. And keep your eye on here. And there, all the armor closes up. Very cool. The antenna goes back in. And all the hard points get pushed into, which is really cool. And there you go. Look at that. Ah, looks awesome. Looks very cool. And I think these little color effects are new as well. I do not remember seeing these on TQ recently, so I'm assuming that's new. Okay, so let's look at the next one, which is the Griffin, and that also got a redesign as well. So let's look at the Tech 1, and it's changed quite a bit. If you remember the Griffin, but before it had like this weird. It's probably one of the more oddly shaped ones, kind of like the old. Not the Executioner, the old Crucifier hull. It was like very thin and very asymmetrical. Oh, excuse me. And now this one, they kind of took it on to the kind of made it very similar to the hull of the Blackbird, the same theme anyway, which doesn't look bad. It just kind of looks like a giant drone to me. So, but I do enjoy that. We'll take a look at the Blackbird to give you an idea here. What theme? I wasn't looking at Doomsday Device or anything, I swear. Where is it? Cruisers. We'll go Tech 1. And we'll go to Blackbird. And you see the very basic, very like similar design for the new Caldari ship models are doing. Lots of antennae. I'm assuming it's antennae. I keep saying antennae. I'm not sure if it's actually how you say it, but very similar. I do see the theme they're continuing here. I'm not exactly opposed to it. I do like all the extra wings and stuff, and they make for very cool warp animations. So I'm not entirely against it. Aesthetically, though, it's not my favorite look for a ship. Even though obviously it's utilitarian, it does fit. Just not for me. But I think it looks interesting. Obviously, a better upgrade from the old model. But to tell you the truth, I wouldn't mind the old model being kept, just detailed up. But maybe that's just me. So let's look at the Tech 2 version now, which is the Kitsune. Again, you won't see huge changes in between designs. Most of the stuff you see different will be like little details, accessories, like this fin here, more antennae here in the bottom, and which will play a role in the warp animation. So, but again, not that bad. I think it's obviously looks cooler than the old model, and it does fit the new theme. So, I think it's good. And plus, the warp animation is pretty cool too. So let's move on to the next frigate, which is the Bantam. Now, my first experience with the Bantam was a mining frigate. So, now watch all these arms go down and stuff. Right there, that all folds up. This antennae go up. So it's quite an involved warp animation, kind of similar to the Jackdaw, if you remember those transformations. But not that bad. The animation is pretty cool. It kind of unpacks itself right here. All the antennae go back down, the fins. So it looks pretty cool. Even some of the engine flaps move, which is interesting. So warp animation's definitely cooler on this ship. Well, the other ship didn't have it. The old model didn't have it, but pretty cool. Now let's look at the Bantam. Like I said before, my first experience ever with the Bantam was a mining frigate when I first started. Now obviously they're Logi frigates now, so this is the new redesign for it. Again, they're going for more the more symmetrical route. Have you noticed all the Caldari ships now, like the foundations of the ship, the main features of it are symmetrical. Just the details, accessories are not anymore. So this one doesn't really I don't know what I'm looking for right now. It doesn't. I don't really enjoy the way this looks too much. It just seems kind of plain. But it does look better than the old Bantam. So I do like it more than the old Bantam. And even give it a little drone bay, which is a nice touch. So all that's cool, I think. Let's move on to the next one, the Tech 2 version. And after that, we will look at the warp animation. Again, very cool. There's a little more fins and stuff. And the warp animation on this one is not as intricate as the Griffin or the kitsune. So let's take a look at that warp animation, and we'll go to the next frigate, which is the Mollusk, which also got a redesign. You'll notice these will move, and I think that's it. Just these. Let's see here. Some more stuff closes around here. The antennae move, but other than that, it's a much less involved warp animation. And it also looks like a giant drone, so keeping up with the spirit here. Yeah, all this opens up too. Okay, all right. So move on to the next one. The Mollusk also got a redesign, and this one actually looks very close to the original. They more or less kept it the way, more or less kept the shape of it the way it is. Even kept the independent fins here for the engines. So overall, it looks pretty similar. Just added a lot more detail. It looks like they've added all this antenna stuff here. They added this circly thing, which I'm not sure what it's for exactly. And all these engines now light up independently. I think actually not all of them. I think the ones on the fins don't, because they are involved in the warp animation. And there's some coding reason why the ones that move can have afterburner type trails coming off it. But the rest of them light up really, really cool. So all in all, I think it's cool. It looks interesting, and I've always liked the Mollusk. I use it as a fallback ship if I can't afford to use anything big. I go into E-War, and usually need E-War in any of the fleets. So it does look cool. And let's move on to the next one. Let's see, this is the Curran. Oh, wrong one. Okay, 5 seconds. We'll look at this one for a little bit more, I guess. We'll just look at this one real quick. Again, very similar. They've added a bit more accessories to it, like this extra bit, which I'm not sure what it does. More antennae, because of course it's the electronic warfare version of it. And all in all, again, it looks very cool. I think it's a very good redesign. You kind of see them light up here a little bit, and except for these ones, when these move, they won't have trails. But overall, I think it's a good redesign. It does bring it up to date with the rest of the ships very nicely, I think. So let's actually get into this ship, and we'll check out the warp animation. Alrighty, let's take the warp animation out, and next will be the probe. Now, I don't think this is as evolved as the Griffin. I think these will move, this will close up, and these will open up very slightly. Let's see here. Alright, cool. Again, a much more subtle warp animation than the Griffin, which compared to anything, I think will have a subtle warp animation though. But again, looks very, very cool. Now let's move on to the probe. Now the probe, I'm not sure if I like that much. Let's see here, move over to it. Here we go. This is the new probe. I'm not liking it for some reason. I'm not digging the flatness. Maybe that's the problem for me. Kind of reminds me of like a like a raft, like not like a good raft, like a raft someone would use when they're stuck on an island by themselves and they have to build one. this part especially. Yeah, maybe I'll get used to it. I usually use these T1 frigates for salvaging when I'm in nullsec, because they have a bonus to salvage or cycle time. So I use these a lot for that. So maybe it'll grow on me. I'm just not sure. Let's move on to the Tech 2 version. I think I like that one better when I looked at it. Okay, I did like this one a little better. I like the additional solar panels. I think it looks a little shorter, and this doesn't stick out as much. So I definitely like this one more. So every once in a while I do use a T2 exploration frigate instead of my Astero. So maybe I'll use this one. It does look pretty interesting, especially the warp animation. I think all this stuff moves, this moves. So let's just take a look at that right now. We'll head to the next station here, which is probably my favorite out of the frigates. I think one of the best redesigns was of the stiletto. Bumping into things, of course. Let's take a look at this. And you see all these solar panels move now. I'll close up. This even moves. Let's watch it unpack itself real quick. Look at that. That looks so cool. I like that. I do like the warp animation. All these little independent arms moving. That's very cool. Alright. Next one. Let's take a look at the Slasher. Now this is the Minotaur tackle frigate. And look at this ship. Wow, I love the way they redid this ship. They did change it quite drastically though. If you remember the old one, or if you jump on TQ right now, excuse me, you'll remember that they had like a 2-tier type thing with like it looked like it had like 2 decks on it pretty much, and they kind of condensed it. It kind of still has it, you see in the middle here, but it's way more compact. It kind of looks like a space fighter now, which I like. Now this looks a bit more I said the Minotaur had this like reputation in the game as like being like makeshift ships pretty much, and this does look a bit more put together. But I guess at some point Minotaur had to get their stuff together, right? They had to have like cool looking ships too, and I think this is a good balance between the two. And I'm really happy about this ship. I'm gonna love using this ship. It looks so cool. And the warp animation on this one is good. I do like it. But when I tried it, it was actually a different warp animation, like a drastically different one than the stiletto and the claw. Like all this one did is the wings closed, like together. That was it. But I'll show you the stiletto one, and it looks fantastic. I absolutely love this warp animation. Now, of course, this one obviously is only slightly different than the slasher, a bit more antennae, different skin. But I'm gonna take you to the mining barges now, and we'll take a look at those. But look at these wings. Look how cool this looks. Just watch this. It looks so beautiful. Ready for it? Those fold up, those close, and then they close in front of it. It's like, it looks so cool. It's like a hawk, like jumping on prey. It looks so cool. Look at that. Open up, unpack itself. Beautiful. Oh man, I love that. I love that warp animation. It looks so interesting. Oh wow. I'm gonna love flying this frigate through Null. Oh man. All right. Good job, PCP. That was amazing. All right. Let's move on to the last part of this video, which is supposed to be the only part. The mining barges. So let's start off with the procure, which I use the most. And there you go. Wow, that is beautiful. That looks fantastic. I have the fire coming out like they did before, but like has smoke effects now. Beautiful. And they actually updated the loadout on some of these. I think they gave all the mining barges, including the procure, 2 mining lasers now. But they adjusted the actual stats where the actual yield is the same. But if you want, like with the Mackinac and the Covetor, they gave a Covetor another low slot, so the potential yield can be higher on that one, and on the Mackinac than on the Procure, but that would make you very thinly tanked. So, but overall, this looks really cool. Let's look at the Mackinac now. Let's just look at it, I guess, with the board it. That getting really cool. Now, I think officially this is the longest one now, because I thought the Covetor was longer before, but this is actually longer now. Again, you can see the smoke effects, the fire coming out of it, and these core things. I'm not sure what these cores are for exactly. They look cool, and then the warp animation actually close. So it looks very, very interesting. I'm definitely digging this. Now let's take a look at the Covetor now. Look at the Covetor. There you go. It has 3 of these core things. They all spin, and of course only 2 mining lasers now. But I think this redesign is very well done. I think it's really, really cool. And oh, I also forgot to show you something. Oh yeah, how did I forget this? Let's go back to the Procure. Let's look at the Procure. Now look at this. Now my main complaint for a long time, when you're mining sitting out there in the belt, and you have no skins. They added skins. So let's take a look at the skins real quick. And they're interestingly named, we'll say. Come on, load up, man. Don't leave me hanging here. Look at that. We have new skins to actually put on my mining barge now. I'm not stuck with the yellow. So we have Digmaster Blazin, which is an interesting name. It's a orangey color and kind of like that off the like dark green. Not my favorite, but you know what? I can see people liking it just because it's that brighter color. It's very rare in Eve to have ships with bright colors on it. So maybe I'll buy it just for that. Let's have Morphite Shine, which looks amazing. Kind of like a crimson color. Very cool. And Pay Dirt Prospector. Now, I wanted to get the blue just because I'm in Brave and blue isn't their color, but it's like a little too dark though. It kind of looks like a black almost. So I'm not sure if I want to get this or the Morphite one. I might go with the Morphite just because I can see it better. Because this looks a little too dark for me. But yeah, they look awesome. I think overall, good job, CP. I am very, very excited about these. And I can't wait to spend money on I'll just buy all 3 of them probably. And I'll change them whenever I feel like it, pretty much. So that is it, guys. So if you want to take a look at them for yourself, get on the test server and just you can ogle them for a few hours until they come out on TQ. I think they're coming out on September. I'm not sure what day in September. I think there's September release. So, but it looks really cool, and I'm happy to see all these ships just get caught up with the rest of the game. So, but that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, of course, leave a like. If you like the content, of course, subscribe, and fly safe and fly brave.